Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where I'm going to be bringing you more results than an actual real recap for AEW Double or Nothing, in which I have to come clean. I did not end up attending. I ended up getting, mildly sick, I'd say. Thankfully, I am getting a bit over it. I am a little mad I missed it in person because I missed a hell of a good show. So, AEW, if you're coming around the tri-state area again in the near future, let me know ahead of time because I am in. So, this leads us to a bit more results and then a recap show. I'll try to keep it lighter and go over at least the finishes of the matches, and maybe some skits we get. So we open the pre-show, the buy-in, whatever you want to call it, with a little interview with Mick Foley, talking about how AEW brought him back into interest in wrestling, which I am almost certain that was line for line what he said when he joined TNA back in the day. So we'll see how genuine he is. I trust Mick Foley because, Long Island boys gotta stick together. But I guess we'll see. Our first matchup of the pre-show is a 5-minute eliminator challenge. Basically, the challengers either win the match or survive the 5 minutes. They get the tag team title shot. Coming to the challenge today is Zeta Steel and Viva Vane, who are being managed by Christopher Daniels, which I guess Viva Vane has some connection to them. I'm not sure. And of course, we got the champions, the Divine Dominion, Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. Steel and Vane almost got to the 5-minute mark, but at 1 minute, we see Bayne and Cross hit the Divine Intervention to pick up the win. Post-match, we see Bayne and Cross attack not only Vane and Steel, but also Christopher Daniels, which brought out the returning Anna Jay and Tay Conti. TJ, fight! Which, glad we're finally getting a story with with the women's tag division. I would have liked to see the Brawling Birds get the shot, but I guess they're doing that at Double or Nothing. Not Double, All In. So, I guess we'll see. Next matchup, we got trios action, meaning 3-on-3. We got the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Daniel Garcia, taking on the Ops, being represented by Hook, Katsuyori Shibata, and Anthony Bowens. And let me tell you something. I didn't really understand the hate Hook got when he came back and started leading the Ops. I kind of get it now. The dude feels like he's stuck in his training a little bit. He has the basics down, which is good, but he needs some more dynamic stuff. Highlights obviously came between Claudio and Shibata. Those two, I really want to see a one-on-one match between them. So the winner comes after a big old Claudio Castagnoli uppercut to Bowens to pick up the win. So, that was a fun little trios match to get the Death Riders on the card. Although, we'll get to that. This next match, oh boy, this was honestly insane. So it is a 10-man tag. So it's 5-on-5. So in one corner, we have Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong 2/3 of the Trios champions, QT Marshall, who we haven't seen on AEW TV in years, and the Costco guys, aka Big Boom AJ, who, if you remember, did do some wrestling in his earlier days before he became internet famous. And then apparently this is also a sponsored match, so they came out with a coconut water mascot of a brand I've never seen before, and I'll probably never order, as they take on the entirety of the Shane Taylor promotion. So that's Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Sean Dean, Carly Bravo, and Anthony Ogogo, who it has been a while since I've seen him. So this was pretty much the have fun F around match. That is the best I can come up with. I think at one point AJ had Dean and Bravo up for a Tower of Doom, but Shane Taylor ended up stopping him. Cassidy and Strong then squirted the coconut water samples into their faces. AJ hits the top rope powerbomb, and I honestly forget how this match finished. Could have been a headlock takeover for all I remember, but the baby faces get the win. And yeah, that's it for the matches for the pre-show. We got one more segment with Mick Foley. He comes out for another little rah-rah speech. MJF interrupts. Tells Mick Foley, the only thing you're known for is losing. And then Mick Foley's like, yeah, I might be a loser, but I beat Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Brother name dropped The Rock on an AEW pay-per-view. What timeline are we living in? At that point, MJF walks right up to him, kicks him right in the family jewels. Looks like MJF is about to attack Mick Foley with his Dynamite Diamond Ring. Darby Allin comes in, runs him off. Then Mick is like, I know you got a lot on your plate, but let's do this for the weirdos. Which, yeah, I'm surprised this segment didn't happen backstage somewhere. But it does make sense having it in front of the crowd, because that reaction they got was great. And, bit of a spoiler alert, Mick Foley doesn't factor into the main event, which I found completely surprising. So, anyway, we get into the show proper. We get the AEW Tag Team titles on the line. And in I Quit Street Fight, which means, plunder abroad, and if Cope and Cage lose, they must retire as a tag team. So, obviously, we got our challengers, Adam Copeland, aka Edge, teaming up with Christian Cage. So, yeah, we get Edge and Christian on an AEW pay-per-view, taking on Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler of FTR. And to say they used every weapon under the sun, they pretty much did to the best of their abilities, because apparently under sanctions from the New York Athletic Commission, there's certain things you can't do, which, honestly, that's news to me, but some highlights, we had Cage, who has his arm in a cast. FTR puts it through a cinder block and then hits the cinder block with a chair, which, that's crazy. Dax and Cash hit the big rig shatter machine. Looks like they're about to pin Cage when Beth Copeland comes out. That's Edge's wife, who FTR took out at All In last year, which is insane. Comes out, starts to fight off Stokely, but FTR fight her off. They then set up a table. Dax Harwood then gets lighter fluid and a lighter, sets the table on fire. Looks like they're about to spear Beth off of the apron. Beth moves. Stokely takes the spear through the flaming table. And I'm going to give big props to Stokely for that taking that bump. That's insane. A la Mick Foley, WrestleMania. Oh, God, what WrestleMania was that? That was like 20-something? I think it was 21, 22-ish. I need to go back and watch, because it was like shot for shot. Match ends with Cage locking Wheeler in the sharpshooter, Copeland with a crossface, then sees Beth on the outside, tells him, get whatever it is. Beth goes under the ring, picks up Spike, which is a barbed wire board, big old 2x4 with nails hammered into it. Copeland then takes it, puts the spikes end into Cash's head, and that's when he says the words, I quit. So your winners and the new AEW Tag Team Champions, Cage and Copeland. And I have seen a little, they're so old, why are they doing this? I'm going to say this. I don't mind this nostalgia run. It's probably going to be short and sweet, especially with, potentially the Motor City Machine Guns and the New Day coming in. So I think this opens the doors for a lot more opportunity for people. Plus, from what I've learned, Dax and Cash's contracts are coming up pretty soon, but more than likely they're re-signing. So, we'll see what happens. Next up, we got a big old... The AEW International title gets on the line as Konosuke Takeshita challenges Kazuchika Okada. A battle of the Don Callis family. And a battle it was, and it was straight up Japanese strong style. These two guys looked like they wanted to knock each other's head off. And at times I thought they did. But there was also some good counters out of finishers. Eventually, Takeshita hits the Raging Fire, pick up the win, and pick up the title. Post-match is where things get a little interesting, because the other members of the Callis family come out, they get into Takeshita's face. Then out comes Kyle Fletcher, and he looks like $1,000,000. Dude's been out due to injury. Super happy he's back. He gets in the ring, stands right next to Takeshita. So it looks like they're going to fight their way through the Callis family together. Callis family bail. Looks like they're going up the ramp. So Fletcher embraces Takeshita, raises his hand, hits him with a big old clothesline. Fletcher is still heel. And Takeshita potentially has a brand new challenger, which, hell yeah, I am in. And then at that point, we see Kyle Fletcher and Okada both holding the AEW International title. They look each other down. Okada relinquishes it. Then Fletcher hits Takeshita with the title. I'm going to say this. If we don't get some sort of triple threat match between these three, honestly, I'll take anything. At the new pay-per-view that's coming, Redemption, I think it's called. I would love it to be at All In, All Out, Turn Yourself About. That triple threat would obviously feed families. Our next matchup, we got our first round matchup of the Owen Hart Cup. And thankfully it's not a title belt. They redesigned it. It is now a proper trophy. So that's That's cool. I think I'd prefer that over another title belt. Our combatants, Athena taking on Mina Shirakawa. Now, at first, this match definitely had some rough edges. It looked like they were still kind of getting used to each other. Eventually, they did turn it on with Mina targeting Athena's hurt leg, which she hurt on a springboard dive, if I remember correctly. But eventually, Athena wins via a pile driver and then an O-face to move on in the Owen Hart Cup. That was a fun little matchup. Like I said, it was a little bit awkward to start, but it did eventually get there. So, no complaints from me. Next up, we got the Continental title on the line. And this time, there are 0 time limits. We get Jon Moxley taking on Kyle O'Reilly. And this was a straight up grapple fest. Like, if you like more, technical style wrestling, I think this is going to be right up your alley. If you're more of a fan of high flying and death-defying stuff, maybe it's not your cup of tea, but this was surely mine. So, match ends. Both men have an ankle lock on one another. But Kyle has to relinquish because he hurt his leg again. Moxley takes advantage, holds on to the ankle lock, and Kyle O'Reilly taps out. So your winner, still champion, Jon Moxley. And I'm pretty sure Kyle's going to be fine. He still has the Trios titles, which I'm a little sad that he didn't get defended on this show, but I do understand why. So, a little technical styling for you. Next up, our first men's Owen Hart Cup match. First rounder, it's Will Ospreay taking on Samoa Joe. The entire reason I wanted to go to this show. Even though it was announced late, this is a dream match of mine that I've wanted to see forever, and now we are getting it. And as Joe's making his way into the ring, Ospreay immediately hits him with an Os Cutter, tries to lock in his new armbar submission, which Joe fights out of. And these two have a great match. This is potential match of the year candidate. And I'm not even joking. This was an absolute banger. Had a nice little back and forth. Will almost loses Joe on the Styles Clash, readjusts, hits it, only gets a 2 count. But finish comes after a hidden blade for a 2 count. Ospreay then sets up proper in the corner, hits a hidden blade to the back of Joe's head to pick up the win. So, Will Ospreay moving on in the tournament. I am so sad I didn't get to see that live, man. But honestly, Tony Khan, please come back to the tri-state area. I need to see this. So next match, we got the last first round matchup on Double or Nothing. I do believe we got some more coming. We got Swerve Strickland versus Bandito. And oh boy, I think these two guys saw the last match and said, yeah, we can step it up. I think one of the major highlights we saw was Swerve Strickland standing straight up on Bandito's shoulders, hitting a house call from that position, which, how do you do something like that? Again, a nice little back and forth. But after another house call, your winner is Swerve Strickland. So he's moving on in the tournament. Next up. Yeah, I know. It's going to be a kind of a long one. We got Thekla defending her AEW Women's Championship against Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, and Jamie Hayter. A bit thrown together on the card, but honestly, these four ladies knocked it out of the park. It was non-stop action. And honestly, it might have stolen the show if not for a heck of a lot of other good stuff. And then after Shida and Hayter brawled to the back, Statlander attempted a Sunday Night Fever. Thekla countered out of it, hitting her curb stomp to pick up the win and retain her title. I was generally surprised by this result, but I do like it. Issue is, I'm not sure where Thekla goes from here. Because AEW's women's division is kind of limited in face star power. No Toni Storm. Willow Nightingale's out. Not sure what Mercedes Moné is doing. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Then we get to our semi-main event, and it's Stadium Stampede, which pretty much means you can brawl all over the arena, and it's team versus team. Team 1, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Jack Perry, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin, taking on the team of Ricochet, Bishop Khan, Toa Leona, Andrade El Idolo, Mark Davis, David Finlay, and Clark Connors. And yeah, this was kind of the most sterile Stadium Stampede I've ever seen. Like, not to say it was bad, it was still very entertaining. There were spots like Ricochet and Jericho brawling in the back with a tennis racket while Jericho shoots a trading the tennis launcher thing. I don't know what to call that. One point we see Jungle Jack Perry almost try to kill Mark Davis with the Jurassic Express bus. And yeah, from the fan footage, they also brawled like on the concourse. You saw Young Bucks super kick Clark Connors onto an escalator. Sadly, my wish wasn't fulfilled, and there wasn't a segment over at Citi Field. But some other interesting things did happen, including the babyfaces clearing the ring, leaving Ricochet, who ate every single finisher of everyone in there, finishing off with a Jericho Salt for the win for Team Jericho. And then after that, one of the weirdest tributes I've ever seen, Jericho puts himself through a table ringside. He then gets up, pays a little tribute to Sabu, one of his co-workers from ECW, and I think WWE for a little bit. So, yeah, definitely a fun cluster you-know-what match. Again, apparently this match was a little, I don't want to say handcuffed, but a little limited on what they can do due to the New York State Athletic Commission. So, like, they weren't allowed to bleed, they weren't allowed to use certain weapons. But I think it got the job done. It was a fun little fight. Fun big fight, actually. And I can't believe I'm saying it. It was the palate cleanser for our main event of the evening for the AEW World Championship. And if he loses, MJF must shave his head. In which, What's so wrong with shaving your head? So we get MJF taking on Darby Allin. And yeah, these two guys brought it. Like, I think this was the match everyone was looking for when this was first announced at, I want to say it was Revolution, but I could be wrong. And yeah, these two guys fought everywhere. At one point, we see Darby Allin. They're on the stage. Darby Allin and MJF are fighting over to the stage, which has a barber chair and then a table with one pair of like electric clippers, which I would have liked to see that set up a little bit more. Darby Allin then, MJF tries to shave Darby Allin's head. Darby counters out. Then Darby sets MJF on the table ringside. He goes up the scaffolding of the stage, in which, I'm going to say that stage, while minimal, still had so much personality. I enjoyed that so much. So he gets on top of the stage, does a coffin drop from it, through MJF, through the table. Then there's a beat. Next time we see Darby Allin again, the back of his head is bleeding, and it's bleaching his hair. So he's trying to get MJF down to the ring. He's stumbling. His energy's low. Gets him in the ring. Tries for another coffin drop. MJF gets his knees up. I believe he hits the heat seeker. Only gets a 2 count. Darby Allin gets up, hits the code red for a 2 count. Then he goes for the Scorpion Deathlock. But just like he did with Sammy Guevara, he collapses. So MJF takes advantage, hits the heat seeker, and then hits the headlock takeover for the 1, 2, 3. So your winner and new AEW World Champion, MJF. But that's not where this finishes. Because Darby, who is, like I said, still bleeding from the back of the head, gets rolled on to a gurney. Let's call it what it is. It's gurney. He gets all strapped in. MJF backs everyone off from taking him away. MJF then stands over Darby with the title in his hand. Then who comes out? It's Kevin Knight, the TNT champion. Looks like he runs MJF off. However, this is the interesting part. Kevin Knight then looks down at Darby Allin, hits a UFO splash on him while he's still locked in. So we got a Kevin Knight heel turn. So this is definitely going to be interesting. So Double or Nothing absolutely had a little something for everybody, including very minimal advertisements, which I absolutely love. This show was pretty much perfect. If I had one nitpick, and there's one, it is the weird coconut water mascot guy that came out for the pre-show 10-man. I don't know. I thought that was weird and maybe a little much. But, you know what? Overall, it was a fun little show. And I'm going to say this. If you are a fan of wrestling overall, you're going to really enjoy this match. This entire show. Now, it is like 4.5 hours. So, it is going to take a little while to watch it all. But, I'm going to say this. Watch everything. It is all worth it. The storytelling is there. The wrestling is obviously there. AEW is getting so much better with its presentation. AEW feels like it's finally getting its act together. And it's great to see in real time. And honestly, it's great to see so many people enjoying it. Including many people watching it for the AEW for the first time. Which, I'm surprised that was on my feed. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the show. Let me know what your thoughts are on AEW Double or Nothing. If you're an OG fan like myself, what did you think? If you're a new fan, let me know what you thought. If you're a fan that maybe haven't watched wrestling in a while and you decided to tune in, let me know what you thought about this down below. We get back to regularly scheduled programming this week. That's going to be the 3-hour Dynamite, which is going to be Dynamite plus Collision. That's going to be a whole changeover. TNA Impact. Then Saturday is going to be a bit jam-packed. I'm going to cover those 3 on Friday. Saturday is going to be very interesting because it's 4 o'clock. It's going to be NWA on Comet. Then 6 o'clock, starting this Saturday, MLW Fusion on, not Fubo. I forget what channel they're on, but you can also watch it on YouTube. I don't think there's going to be a regular Collision this week. I could be wrong, but I guess we'll see. So, yeah, those I'll be covering on Monday. Hopefully you sit tight for those. And until that time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.